Good morning, everyone. Okay, happy Independence Day. First of all, first things first. So I hope you people are doing great. And I hope you people have gone through the yesterday's classroom notes also. So yeah. Some lag is coming, don't know why. Yeah. So now let's see where we have stopped yesterday. So this is the poem where we have stopped yesterday. And yesterday we discussed about the effect of gravity and effect of viscosity by means of Froude's number and Reynolds number. Okay, by this now we know how to classify the flow by using the Froude's number and by using the Reynolds number. By using the Froude's number and by using the Reynolds number. So let's go back to the example. Yes. In the same example, see, this was the example that I was been mentioning. This is example one. So I have taken this example earlier, right? Now I want to find out the Froude number. I want to find out the Froude number. See, if I am going to send this one, Mr. So Modi ji is giving speech now, sir. Then what to do, sir? He always gives that. Fine. Yeah. Anyways, today is Independence Day, so he is going to be give. But right now, I am giving a speech to you people also. So you do listen to me. I hope my voice is clear for you and video and everything is clear for you. Okay. Yes. So in the previous sessions, we have been discussed about this question, but there I asked you to find out the hydraulic depth and hydraulic radius. Now, in this channel, I need to find out what is the type of flow, or I need to classify the flow. And as it is an open channel flow, you know that the flow is going to be classified mainly by means of Froude number, not by Reynolds number. Okay. So I need to find out the Froude number. For finding the Froude number, I need to know how much of flow rate is passing through the channel. So in the same question, yes. So in the same question, let's say B. For the same question, let's say B in that if a flow rate of 10 meter cube per second is passing through given channel, classify type of flow. So how we are going to classify the type of flow? How we are going to classify the type of flow? Let's see first one. Yeah. So the solution is what is the flow rate I am providing you here is 10 meter cube per second. Okay. And how we are going to classify the flow? And that is based upon the Froude number, right? So now, what is the Froude number, please? Froude number FR is equals to V by root GD. Yes. And we need to find out the velocity. We need to find out the hydraulic depth. So what is the velocity? Discharge by area. Already we know what is the area, 4.57. And we know what is the hydraulic depth, 2.285. So what is our given? 10 by 4.57. So the velocity is going to be like 10 by 4.57, which is going to be 2.188 meter per second. And now, once I know this, then what is the Froude number? Fr is equals to 2.188 by root of 9.81 into, what is the d value, please? 2.285. See, I don't use further calculator because what I know is, what is numerator? 2.18. Yes. And what is denominator? Root of 9.81 into some value. Array, root 9 itself is 3. Na? Root 9 itself is 3. And this is root of 9.81 into 2.285. Obviously, this root value is going to be more than 3. Yes or no? So now in the numerator the value is less and in the denominator the value is going to be more, and I don't calculate further. I don't want the exact value. I am not asking you the Froude number value. I am classifying the flow. So this is going to be less than 1. If you saw there is going to be less than 1, and whenever the Froude number is going to be less than 1, then I can call the flow as a subcritical flow. I can call the flow as subcritical flow. So what is a subcritical flow? The flow with a larger depth and a lesser velocity is known as a subcritical flow, which means if you allow a flow rate of 10 meter cube per second in this channel at a flow depth of 2.5 meters, then the flow passing through the channel is classified as a subcritical. So now, in order to find out this one as a critical, so how much discharge should I have to send, sir? To make it as a critical flow, now I am adding one more question. See, I said I have given you the Q value as how much? 10 meter cube per second. Okay. If I give you this much discharge, then what is the Froude number? Less than 1. So the flow is going to be subcritical. So the flow is going to be subcritical. Now, next question. I want to include one more question in this. In the same channel, at the same depth, what is the depth of flow I am giving over here? Total depth of flow, please. What is the center line depth? 2.5 meters. So in the same channel, for the same depth, in order to create a critical flow, how much discharge to be sent? So now, see, in the previous question, at the same cross-sectional flow details, the flow rate required to create critical condition is. What is the flow rate required to create the critical condition? My dear, I already told you, you see, yes. So in order to undergo the critical flow condition, see what is the critical flow condition? This is the critical flow condition, right? And this critical flow condition is nothing but Q square by G is equals to A cube by T. Q square by G is equals to A cube by T. So now, let's come to the question. Now, in this question, solution. What is the critical flow condition? What is the critical flow condition? Critical flow condition is Q square by G is equals to A cube by T. So I want the flow rate. What is the meaning of flow rate? Q, right? Q square by G 9.81 is equals to, what is the A value? What is the area? For the same question, the area is going to be 4.57 and top width is going to be 2. 4.57 cube by, the value is going to be 2. Now you please simply substitute those. 4.57 cube by 2 into 9.81 and square root. So the discharge is going to be 21.636 or I can write it as 64 meter cube per second. My dear students, in the same channel, at the same depth, if I can send a discharge of 21.64 meter cube per second, 21.64 meter cube per second, then what I can see over here is critical flow. But in the same channel, if I send only 10, the flow is going to be subcritical. I hope you can understand. As the flow passing through the channel is going to be changes, the type of flow is also going to be changes. Now, practically, sir, in the case of rainy season, you don't require additional water through the canals because the rainfall itself is adequate. Yes or no? So in rainy season, whatever the flow of water in the canals we send will be less. But in the case of the summer season, you have to supply more of water. Yes or no? Because the demand is going to be more. So in summer season, the flow rate is different. In rainy season, the flow rate is different. So due to seasonal changes, the flow rate will continuously fluctuate due to seasonal changes, due to supply and demand variation. So the flow rate continuously fluctuates. When the flow rate changes, then the type of flow is also going to be changed. I hope you understood. Please have a look. Sir, can we solve this by taking FR is equals to 1? Yes, you can, my dear. You can find it out. You can find out R. You can go when FR is equals to 1. V is equals to root GD. V is equals to root GD. Yes or no? When V is equals to root GD, Q by A is nothing but root of G into D. So area into root of G into D. What is the area, please? 4.57 into root of 9.81 into 2.285. So if you solve that also, you can get the same answer. So if you solve this one also, it is going to be 21.64 meter cube per second. That's it. Either you go with the critical flow condition, because I want you to remember this equation, because there is a lot of things required for this in the later chapters. So that's why I'm asking you, you please go through this equation, or you can go with right at critical flow, the Froude number is equals to, okay. Now, that's all with the chapter number 1. See, now I'm going to give the chapters also. Yes. Whatever the topics we are going to cover. So in the chapter number 1, introduction to open channel flow and basic channel geometry. Introduction to open channel flow means whatever the type of flows, whatever the type of channels, whatever the type of cross sections, and what is the channel geometry. So all this comes over in the chapter part 1. So far I have discussed. Next part 2, and from part 2 onwards, already I have classified the flows yesterday. So the generalized classification of flow, and there we are going to discuss about next uniform flow, and then we are going to discuss about gradually, or before going to the gradually varied flow, we have one more topic, specific energy. Specific energy. Next, gradually varied flow, and then we discussed about hydraulic jump, in terms of RVF. See, all these are, this is uniform flow. I told you yesterday itself, if I say uniform flow, that is a steady state only. Yes. So steady uniform flow, steady RVF. RVF is nothing but hydraulic jump, right? And then we are going to discuss about the unsteady rapidly varied flow. So these are the 6 topics that we are going to discuss, but right now we have been concluded with part 1, introduction to open channel flow. So this is open channel flow, and apart from the dimension analysis also there, that I'll discuss the dimension analysis later, but as of now. So I hope you have seen all these things except the specific energy. You know what is meant by uniform flow, you know what is meant by gradually varied flow, hydraulic jump, and unsteady RVF. I hope you have been gone through that video I have preferred for you, and you have gone through the notes also. Now let's come to the topic one by one. So far I have given you the parts and parcels. Now we will attach all those parts. I told you what is meant by uniform flow, but now how this uniform flow is going to be happen. Which means, what is meant by uniform flow? Yes. What is meant by uniform flow? The uniform flow means the flow parameters remain same. The flow parameters remain same along the length. Now the question is how it is going to be formed. And in order to create the uniform flow, how much flow rate should I have to send? Or how much depth should I have to send? Let's see that. Yeah. Now, next, uniform flow. We are going to discuss about now uniform flow. First of all, what is uniform flow? So uniform flow means if flow parameters remain same with respect to space, or in other words, I can write as along length of channel. Along length of channel. Then we are going to say it as a uniform flow. If flow parameters remain same along length of the channel, we are going to say it as a uniform flow. In other words, dou y by dou s is equals to 0 and dou v by dou s is equals to 0. So what is the meaning of this one, sir? The velocity should be constant. So the actual definition of the uniform flow is the flow with a constant velocity or zero acceleration. The flow with a constant velocity or a zero acceleration. So whatever the flow with constant velocity or zero acceleration. Flow with constant velocity or zero acceleration. Don't ask me, sir, why it is zero acceleration? Because acceleration is nothing but rate of change, dv by dt. What is mean by a? A means acceleration. So velocity by time, actually the acceleration means variation of velocity with respect to time. How you are going to change the velocity with respect to time is nothing but acceleration. So as the flow is going to be having a constant velocity, so dv is going to be 0 because no change. So the acceleration is also going to be 0. So when do you see this uniform flow? When do you see the uniform flow? It occurs only in prismatic channels. It occurs only in the prismatic channels. So I have given all these things earlier, right? So just now I am giving you one by point. But the biggest question is, sir, you are saying that, okay, whenever the flow is constant, means constant velocity, then you are going to term it as a uniform flow. But what is the exact reason why these things are going to be constant? Means when the flow is going to be attain the constant velocity. So for that, I need to define the condition. So there must be one condition where the flow velocity is going to be constant. And I need to find out that condition. Let's see the condition for the uniform flow. Condition for uniform flow. Condition for the uniform flow. See, in the case of the open channel flow, I mean, actually there are no chapters, but I am dividing this as topics. Okay, instead of chapters, now you just make sure it has some topics. Topic number 1, topic number 2, topic number 3. So because there is no much of uniform flow, it's going to be half an hour or 1 hour topic. So you don't need to keep it as a chapters. So I'm going to take the entire open channel flow as a single subject, a single chapter, but divided into small topics, subtopics. Or if you want to take it as a chapter number 2, yes, fine. Uniform flow is going to be the chapter number 2. So conditions for the uniform flow. What is the condition for the uniform flow? The condition for the uniform flow. Let's see. You know that this is a channel bed, and this channel bed must be having some slope, and whatever, this is nothing but free water surface. So this is going to be the free water surface. Okay. Now I am sending some discharge into this canal at certain depth. I need to find out what is the condition for the uniform flow. For that, what I am going to take a control volume. What is the meaning of control volume, sir? Sir, control volume is a space where we are going to analyze the flow. Control volume is a space where we are going to analyze the flow. So now let's take a control volume. So whatever the space I am representing, this is nothing but control volume, my dear. Okay. Now, you know that in the starting of this open channel flow, I told you open channel flow is a gravitational flow. Am I correct? Yes. Open channel flow is a gravitational flow. Now let me take this as a section 1.1 and it is going to be section 2.2. Okay. So in the control volume of section 1.1 and section 2.2, and let's take whatever the depth over here and here, there must be some depth or not? Yes. So now in this fluid element, whenever there is a flow, along the direction of flow, so along the direction of flow, you can see there is a one force. Yes or no? And that force is a component of the weight of the fluid. I told you this force as a driving force. Along the direction of flow, there is a force known as a driving force. And in order to resist the driving force at the boundary, due to boundary resistance, there is a one more force known as a resisting force. If you remember this, just go back to the starting topics where I have been explained that. Yes. So you can see I am going to take this element in this fluid element. I am going to take the driving force, the FD, and this is going to be the resisting force. And how to find out the driving force? You know the driving force is nothing but a component of weight along the length of slope. Component of weight along the length of slope, that is going to be W sine theta. Okay. I hope there is no lagging for you because while I was dragging, there is some lagging. So I hope it is going good for you. Yes. So what is control volume? That is the volume where we do the analysis. Means you cannot analyze the entire flow, right? So you need to take a small space, just like a small element there you have to analyze. So this is a driving force and this is the resisting force where FD is known as a driving force, where FD is known as a driving force and FR is known as resisting force. FD is known as driving force and FR is going to be the resisting force. But now, apart from this, on the upstream and downstream side of an control volume, whatever this flow, this will cause some hydrostatic pressure. Yes or no? And I hope you remember the hydrostatic pressure. The pressure distribution before the control volume and after the control volume is going to be taken as a hydrostatic. See, the meaning of a hydrostatic means the pressure variation. The distribution is going to be linear. So the meaning of hydrostatic is going to be linear. So the assumption that we are going to make over here is in the case of the uniform flow, whatever the pressure distribution is going to be horizontal, so hydrostatic pressure distribution is hydrostatic. And apart from that, the common assumptions are flow is ideal, flow is incompressible, and flow is a steady. We need to assume that. We are going to assume that flow is steady. Now, when I say it is going to be hydrostatic, what is the meaning of hydrostatic? The meaning of hydrostatic is they are going to be linear. This is the hydrostatic distribution. This is the hydrostatic distribution, and whatever the force on the hydrostatic distribution, please observe that force is along this one. This is going to be the hydrostatic force FH1, and this is going to be the hydrostatic force FH2. Sir, what is this hydrostatic forces? Now let me see that. Where FH is known as hydrostatic force. Hydrostatic force. And let's say whatever the depth, this is going to be y1 and this depth is going to be y2. I hope you understood. I am discussing this entire element on the upstream side and downstream side. The force is going to be, so the pressure is going to be a hydrostatic, and this is going to be the hydrostatic force. Okay. And I hope you remember what is the hydrostatic pressure? What is the water pressure? Rho GH. Yes or no? What is meant by rho GH? Rho GH means gamma W into gamma W. Rho G means gamma W. Density into gravity is nothing but unit weight, my dear. So the hydrostatic force is nothing but the area of pressure distribution. You know that force is nothing but pressure into area, right? So what is the hydrostatic force? Half into, what is the base over here? Gamma W into Y1, gamma W into Y2, gamma W into Y into Y. So what is the hydrostatic force? Half gamma W Y square. This is the hydrostatic force. Or I can write directly, you see, in the case of the uniform flow, what I am saying you is, the depths are going to be same. Yes. So velocities are same and so on. Depths are also going to be same and so on. Then only the flow is going to be uniform. So now I am taking this one. Once I am taking this one, you know what is meant by driving force and you know what is meant by resisting force, and I have given the hydrostatic forces also. Now I am going to apply one more thing. So we know the basic principles of the open channel flow or any flow is going to be three: conservation of mass, energy, and momentum. So far and so good. Whatever the discussion I have made is based upon the conservation of mass, continuity equation, and energy, Bernoulli's equation. Now I am going to deal with the momentum principle. Applying linear momentum principle means conservation of momentum. Now, what is meant by linear momentum principle? So now, applying linear momentum principle. So what is mean by linear momentum principle? You know the energy equation and continuity equation, but coming to the linear momentum principle, what is mean by linear momentum principle? So the meaning of linear momentum principle is net force acting along the direction of flow. The net force acting along direction of flow is equals to rate of change of momentum. Rate of change of momentum. See, my dear, what is the net force acting along the direction of flow? This is applying linear momentum principle. Sir, why you are taking the linear momentum principle, sir? Because I am dealing with now whom? Forces. In energy, are you going to deal forces? In discharge, are you going to deal forces? No, I am dealing with the forces. Whenever I deal with the forces, I am going to apply the linear momentum principle. So, what is linear momentum principle? Net force acting along the direction of flow is equals to rate of change of momentum. Now, coming to this details. So, you look over this and you tell me what is the net force acting along the direction of flow. Come on, please. FH1 plus FD minus FR minus FH2. FH1 plus FD minus FR minus FH2 is equals to rate of change of momentum. Yes or no? So for that, now what I am going to do is, look, momentum rate of momentum or momentum flux. We can call the rate of momentum or momentum flux. See, what is mean by rate? You know that rate means per unit time. That's it. Rate means per unit time. So you know that the momentum is nothing but mass into velocity. Yes or no? The momentum is nothing but the mass into velocity. So now mass into velocity per unit time is nothing but the momentum flux. Mass into velocity per unit time is nothing but the momentum flux. So mv per unit time. And what is this? Nothing but mass into velocity by time is nothing but mass into acceleration or not. That's it. You look, whatever the net of forces, see the rate of momentum is nothing but the force. It is nothing but the force. So what I do is, instead of that, in terms of MA, what I do right here is, can I write this mass as a density into volume? Yes. Density into volume into velocity by time. What is velocity? What is volume by time? Can I write the volume? What is units of volume? Meter cube per meter cube, and the time second. Meter cube per second. Can I write it as a rho qv? So what is the rate of momentum or momentum flux? The momentum flux is, let's take that momentum flux as a capital M. So what is the final momentum flux or rate of momentum? Rho qv. But you know that the rate of change of momentum, right? At section 1 there must be one momentum. At section 2 there must be one momentum. And what is the rate of change of momentum? M2 minus M1. M2 minus M1. So now I can write this one as FH1 plus FD minus FR minus FH2 is equals to M2 minus M1. So now, my dear, you know that as Y1 is equals to Y2, as Y1 is equals to Y2. You see, when Y1 and Y2 both are same, then what is the FH1 and FH2? Y1 and Y2 both are same, then FH1 equals to FH2. When FH1 is equals to FH2, then you tell me FH1 and FH2 will get cancelled down. Yes or no? Now, as a V1 is equals to V2, as a V1 is equals to V2, then what is M value? Rho QV. Sir, or I can write this form as, you please observe for better understanding of yours. So now I can write this further as FD minus FR is equals to M2 rho Q V2. So I can write as a rho Q into V2 minus V1. V2 minus V1. So as y1 is equals to y2, fh1 is equals to fh2, and you know that v1 is equals to v2, because then only uniform flow is going to be happen. Yes or no? So if v1 and v2 both are same, then this is going to be fd minus fr is equals to 0. And when fd is equals to fr, so now the final condition for the uniform flow is fd is equals to fr. Whenever the driving force is going to be balanced by the resisting force, then only uniform flow is going to be exist. Whenever the driving force is equals to resisting force, whenever the driving force is equals to resisting force, or when driving force is going to be balanced by the resisting force, then only uniform flow exists. Why, sir? Now see, sir. Sir, if I say the driving force and resisting force both are same, FD and FR will get cancelled or not. And as I said you, the depths are going to be same. FH1 and FH2 both are same. So the entire right HS means RHS, sorry, the entire LHS is going to be 0. When entire LHS is going to be 0, rho Q into V2 minus V1 is equals to 0. Then V2 minus V1 is equals to 0 and V1 is equals to V2. In order to create the flow with a constant velocity, the condition required, what is the condition? So the conclusion is, the conclusion over here is uniform flow exists when driving force is balanced by resisting force. And do you think in reality it is going to be there? Remember, when driving force and resisting force both are same, then there is no flow at all, right? The flow is going to be happen with a very small velocity. You can say this flow as an ideal flow. We can say this flow as an ideal flow. So I can write this one as a uniform flow is a ideal flow. Then only the velocities are going to be same. Then only the depths are going to be same. So I hope you understood the condition behind this. So what is the condition, my dear? The driving force is equals to resisting force. Baba, what FH is opposite FH2 means? See, array, in this section, what is the hydrostatic force? See, I am here. I am the body. There is a water here. There is a water here. This water will exert some force on me. This water will exert some force on me. So that's the meaning of the FH1 and FH2. Okay. So now I hope you understood the conclusion. And now, once I know the condition, what is the characteristic of the uniform flow? Once I know the condition, what is the characteristics of the uniform flow? Characteristic of uniform flow. So again, let's take this is a bed level. Yeah. And now, whatever this is the free water surface. Okay. And now, in the case of the uniform flow, the depths Y1 and Y2 both are same. Array, when the Y1 and Y2 both are same, then the velocities are also going to be same, right? So now you draw the total energy line, please. This is the total energy line. This is the hydraulic gradient line. This is the total energy line and it is going to be the hydraulic gradient line. So now whatever this magnitude, this is going to be V1 square by 2G, and this magnitude V2 square by 2G. V1 square by 2G and V2 square by 2G. So now this is total energy line and this is going to be the hydraulic gradient line. My dear, in the case of the uniform flow, as the depths are same, the velocities are same, how does these lines are going to be looks like? The total energy line is parallel to the hydraulic gradient line is parallel to the channel bed slope. Yes or no? So as long as the depths are same, the hydraulic gradient line is going to be parallel to the channel bed. And as long as velocities are same, the total energy line is going to be parallel to the hydraulic gradient line, which means in the case of the uniform flow, all the three means total energy line, hydraulic gradient line are parallel to bed slope, which means all these lines has same slope. What is that? Same slope. So let me represent that whatever the slope, whatever the slope. Let's take the slope of the bed as S0, longitudinal bed slope, and let's take the slope of surface as SW, and let's take the slope of the total energy line as SF or SE. Yes, F. Okay. So what is a S0, sir? S0 is longitudinal S0 is longitudinal bed slope. My dear students, how the flow occur when the depth is same, y1 is equals to y2. My dear Sanket Jain, this is an ideal. So instead of asking the questions, first of all, if you listen the total topic, then you can understand much more better. Hydrostatic law of force is for static fluid. How come we take the motion? My dear, you see, whatever this is a control volume, my dear. And what is the meaning of control volume? I am taking the analysis only in the control volume, which means flow is happening only in the control volume. Out of the control volume means upstream and downstream, we assume there is no flow. So we take the forces as hydrostatic forces. Okay. And we are going to analyze in this portion only. Okay. And don't think this FR as a Froude number. Please, this FR is not a Froude number. This FR is a resisting force which is due to friction, and I am going to say that within a few minutes. Sir, how the flow occur when the depth is same? My dear Sanket Jain, the depth is the same, the flow is going to be happening. Here the depth is same because the velocities are same. Don't you think whenever there is a depth there is no flow? No, it's not going to be possible. But in the reality, in practical condition, you cannot see uniform flow. In practical scenario, you do almost observe non-uniform flow only. That is the reason why I gave the name as ideal flow. What is the meaning of ideal conditions? Non-existing conditions. Just like how we are expecting our patterns to be ideal nowadays. So does we take? Okay, fine. So now S0 is going to be the longitudinal bed slope. SW water surface slope or slope of a hydraulic gradient line, which is nothing but hydraulic gradient, we say SF or SE. Total energy line slope. So now the characteristic of the uniform flow is all the slopes are going to be same. SF is equals to SW is equals to S naught. So what is the characteristic of the uniform flow? The characteristic of the uniform flow is simply all the slopes are going to be same. All the slopes are going to be same. And it is not going to be possible in any other flow, because if I say non-uniform flow, then the depths are not same, then velocities are not same. If depths are not same, velocities are not same, they are not going to be parallel to each other. So this is characteristic of the uniform flow. Now, terms related to uniform flow. I am giving you the terminologies now. Just like at a critical flow, what is the depth means? Critical depth, YC, and critical velocity, VC. So if I represent Y as YC, that is a critical depth. Yesterday I discussed that. So at critical flow, Y becomes YC. So similarly, in the case of the uniform flow, as the depths are going to be constant, I am going to give some terminologies, and those terminologies are Yn or Y naught. In some textbooks, they take Y n. In some textbooks, they represent Y naught. Yn or Y naught is for a given discharge Q, for a given discharge Q, and okay, fine. Or in simple words, I can tell you, yeah. So Yn or Y naught is in the entire uniform flow, the flow depth is going to be same R naught. So we are going to call it as a normal depth or uniform flow depth. Normal depth or uniform flow depth. So whenever I say uniform flow from here onwards, if I say uniform flow, the depth is nothing but Yn or Y naught. So any of these things, Yn or Y naught. Next, Sn or S naught. Sn or S naught. See, what is this S naught? S naught is nothing but bed slope R naught. In the case of the uniform flow, all the slopes are same. All the slopes are same. So I can say this S naught as normal bed slope or uniform slope. So whenever the slope, see this is a slope, S is nothing but whenever the slope becomes S naught, then means if I say S is S naught, then that is going to be the uniform flow. And similarly, Qn or Q naught. Normal flow. So these are the terms related to the uniform flow. So at first I discussed about the uniform flow definition, and then I have given the conditions. So how this condition exists. So you are going to apply the linear momentum principle, and then finally we say, so whenever the driving force is going to be balanced by the resisting force, then this is going to be the uniform flow. But in reality, as it won't exist, we call this one as ideal flow. I hope you understood. So now let's see the equations of uniform flow. What are the equations of the uniform flow? So before going to that, I just want to discuss some things. It's been for today, but we have not discussed anything apart from the subject. Just give me a minute of time, please. I'll get back to you within a minute. Yeah. So now let's get back to the equations of the uniform flow. And before that, as today is Independence Day, we must have to celebrate every Independence Day. But my question is, actually, do we really know what is the independence? Yeah. Every year we do celebrate whenever August 15 comes. So the vibe of celebrating the Independence Day will come. So 1 week before August 15, and after this today and tomorrow is just another day, and just like yesterday, and just like tomorrow. But today is an Independence Day. So whenever it comes to us, then only we used to discuss. Yes. But what my question is really, what is our independence? Yes, we got a freedom of speech, and we got a rights to know and to do anything whatever we want under legal terms. And compared to many other countries, we are in a better stage. We are not like a China, which is a capitalistic country, where whatever the government says, that has to be followed by the people. And means we are not like Americans, or we are not like Russians, and especially we are not like a North Korea. And I hope everybody knows about the North Korea, Kim Jong-un. And in the North Korea, there are only 3 news channels. There is only 3 news channels, and all the 3 news channels are from the government. And they always says in the news channels are the North Korean president Kim Jong-un is the leader of the world, and he is the savior of the planet. And there are only 3 channels. And in North Korea, it is crime to wear a jeans. It is crime to wear a jeans. And in North Korea, the officials only have a light after 6 o'clock. And normal people has never saw the light after 6 o'clock. They don't know how to use the camera also, because they don't know the camera is existing in a phone. So there are a lot of means at this we are in our 21st century. I hope so. Yes, 21st century only. No? So even in the 21st century, there are a lot of places where the freedom is just like a star in a sky. They can see that, but they cannot touch it. But we are in a place where we have a lot of things, and we have flexibility to do anything. You can easily bridge the traffic signal, and whenever there is a police, you can turn it on. That you can go with a 2-wheeler as a 3-wheeler ride also. You do anything, and there is no one to question until unless you go to murder or do something else, a robbery. So apart from that, you can speed on the roads. Can you speed on the roads in other countries, like foreign countries, like let's say America? We do say about America, and America is the richest country and something like that. But do you think they are going to be sit idle when you spit on our roads? No. Even if you dump your garbage just next to the road also, they will give you a lot of fine. And you have to keep that garbage at a particular location every day. And I have some of my friends who are living in states about that. They were completely disciplined, and that is very good, because for every freedom it requires some boundary. The freedom is not about to fly everywhere. The freedom is about knowing our boundaries, and knowing what we can do with our capabilities. And for this independence, there were a lot of people. I cannot say one, and we always say one person, so that I don't feel like everybody says like Mahatma Gandhi or Subhash Chandra Bose or some person, Nehru or some other persons. There are lots and lots of people. It was not a 1-year journey. It was in, more than 150 years. Means the struggle itself. And we were under the Britishers for more than 200 years. And the struggle has started around 150 years before we got our independence. Not 150 years, 100 years. So the struggle they went through is a literally far more powerful and painful than the state we are in now. Right now, what is the common problems that we say? Tell me. Right now, what is the common problems? The common problems that we say is right now, today is I don't have a cell phone, I don't have a bike, I don't have a proper clothes, or I don't have that one, I don't have this one, I cannot go there, I cannot go here, I don't have proper money. So these are the serious problems that we are facing now. And we are feeling so bad ourselves, and this is in a millennium, and where
We always show off our emotions in a social media by means of the pictures. Have you ever given a thought that whenever you have taken a photo or whenever you are giving a still for the camera, can you be in the same pose in a day? While you're clicking a camera, you're going to say cheese, 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 and you're going to give different angles of yourself, yes? And especially, I mean, I'm not degrading or I'm not demeaning anyone, especially ladies. So they turn around themselves to make themselves to make sure they are slim. Obviously, right? But are you going to be like that throughout the day? Are we going to maintain the same smile, or are we going to maintain the same pose throughout the day? No. We are faking our lives right now. And we are thinking by seeing the social media, and I'm not saying one thing over here, a lot of social media apps are there, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you say, and everything is there. And whatever the pictures are posting in the Facebook or any social medias, people are influencing about them and they start to share the same things. And we are comparing our lives with a non-existing thing of the social media. We are losing our independence or our freedom. This is not what is the meaning of a freedom or independence. Keep that in your mind. India got the independence, but not you. The real meaning of independence is the day where you can stand up on yourself to do anything that you can within a boundaries by knowing what is right and what is wrong. And as long as you are not reached that point, you are not independent. You are a dependent. And as of now, I'm saying this to you people. Right now, you people are you all people, those who are listening this class. I may not see you, I may not see your faces, but I hope you can understand what I'm saying over here. Virtually, you people are all dependent on your parents now. Whatever the pen you're writing with, and whatever the gadget you're using with, and whatever the things that you do every day, that's not your money. And that's not your efforts. That's your parents' efforts, and that's your parents' money. And you know that, I mean, most of the people in India, you know what? Only some 8 to 9% of the people are rich people, not 8 to 9%, some 5 to 6% of the rich people. And India is a country where more than 70% of the people are middle class people, which means every day we have to think about what to do this today. And whenever the month salary comes or credited in our account, then it will be feel like, oh, wow, today the salary got credited. And tomorrow groceries are there, rent is there, milk is there, labor charges is there, and whatever it is, everything is going to be cut off, cut off, cut off, cut off. And whenever the end of month comes again, in the last 1 week of the month, it will feel like when the next month is going to be start, when the next month is going to be start, when the salary is going to be gets credited. It's a continuous process. And if you want to go to some place, you have to resist some other things. If you want to go to a restaurant this month, you have to keep the bills for the hospital aside. Or if you want, means if our parents wants to buy some gadget for us, they have to sacrifice themselves for something. So we are in this position, my dear. Yeah, I don't have any problem to celebrate the Independence Day. Yes, that is for the country. And for that country, the people has fought more than 100 to 150 years to achieve this one. But what about you? There is no one, and there is no other person who is going to be give a fight for your life. You are the only one warrior in the war zone to fight with yourself. And you have to brace up yourself with all the armory. And that's what you need to know. And when you are in that position, that day you are independent. The meaning of independence, you're not depending on anyone. But as of now, you are depending highly on your parents. Make sure whatever the efforts they are keeping on you from the past 22 years. I hope everybody right now who are taking the coaching, you might be in a range of 22 years, right? And there might be some people who are doing a part-time jobs, or there might be some people who are employees who are earning themselves. I'm not discussing about them. So as long as you're standing on your own legs, means that's a metaphor. So that's going to be good. But they are giving your parents from your child, means from your birth onwards, they are giving lots and lots of efforts on you. 20 to 22 years. Make sure whatever the struggle they are going through for you is a worthwhile. And further, you need to look on yourself, work on yourself physically, mentally. Both should be there. If you are physically strong and mentally weak, you're not able. And if you are mentally strong and physically weak, that's also not counts. So make sure yourself are both physically, mentally, you should be strong enough. And develop yourself in such a way, not to compare something on the social media or not to complain like they're having this one, they're having this one. You're no more kids. And don't say like, sir, I'm kid, I'm just 19 or I'm 20, I cannot do this one. No, age is just a number. And maturity doesn't come with a number or age. Maturity comes more with a damage than age. So work on your independence and go through that. Every day is a new day for you. And when you wake up now, you should have that burning fire in you. What I have to do next, what I am going to do now, and what is my future, and how I am going to develop. So it may seems like insane. It may sounds like insane also. Sir, why we have to follow and why we have to develop for the future and something else. I'm not saying about the future or something else. I'm saying about the present yourself. Are you are capable more than ever? More than ever means compared to your past as of now, are you capable enough? Have you learned something? Yes. See, everybody survives, but a few people live. Survival is different, living is different. Survival is just living the same way for the 100 years and saying, I survived for 100 years. That's not the way. You have to be multifold. You need to extend your limits and you need to go beyond your boundaries, thinking of your boundaries. So please try to achieve that, and then you really got your independence. And once again, I am wishing you a happy Independence Day for our country and not for you. When you get that, you wish yourself. So now let's come to the topic, equations of uniform flow. And one more thing, there is no holiday tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. Tomorrow there is no holiday. Sunday, the class is going to be 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. And the holiday will be given either on Monday or Tuesday. That will be let you know by tomorrow. But tomorrow there is no holiday. Tomorrow the class is from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. Okay. Now come to the equations of the uniform flow. What are the equations of uniform flow? So there are two equations of the uniform flow. Number one, Chase's formulae, and this Chase's formulae, see, this Chase's formulae was given by Chase based upon the driving force is equals to resisting force. He has equated these two and he made an equation to determine the velocity of flow. Sir, what is the equations? Why we need to worry about these equations, sir? My dear student, in order to say the uniform flow, how much flow rate should I have to send in a channel? That depends upon the velocity of flow. Because you know that in the case of uniform flow, the velocity should be C. And in order to find out that velocity, we have equations from the Chase's as the V, velocity of flow, is nothing but C into root RS. C into root RS. So now, this is going to be the S. And in the case of the uniform flow, what is S? In uniform flow, what is the characteristic? The S is going to be any slope. You can write this one as S0, SF or SW. And what is our? What is our hydraulic radius? What is our hydraulic radius? Where C is Chase's constant. Where C is Chase's constant. So what is the velocity given by the Cheji? V is equals to C into root RS. And this is a derived formula. By using the driving force is equals to resisting force. So now coming to this Cheji's equation, you see this Cheji's constant is not as simple as it looks like. It depends upon the lot of factors. This Cheji's constant depends upon the type of channel and roughness of the channel. If you observe here, the velocity is going to be directly proportional to C. Yes or no? No. For a given channel, there is a shape, cross section, there is a shape, there are sizes, and there is a slope, longitudinal bed slope, and whatever the material you have used for the canal. If you are going to go for the concrete, that concrete lining must be having some roughness. Or if you're using wood, some roughness. If you're using some glass, some roughness, which means whatever the boundary has some roughness or some smoothness. Yes or no? Now, when the velocity of the flow is going to be more, I'll ask you one question over here. Please tell me. For example, let's take a pipes. On one hand, you have a circular pipe. On one hand, you have a PVC pipe. So circular pipe and a pipe made up of PVC. Okay. So in the case of the circular pipe and in the case of the PVC pipe, I am sending the same flow of water, means the same flow rate. But in which pipe it will have more velocity? Think and say. Same dimensions you are observing. Same dimensions for a circular pipe and for PVC pipe. Dimensions are same. I am sending some flow rate in both the pipes, and which pipe has more velocity? Obviously, the PVC pipes has more velocity, because in the case of the PVC pipes, the surface is going to be smoother than the concrete. I can say the concrete pipes has a more roughness than the PVC pipe. So more the roughness means it depends upon the nature of the boundary. Depends upon the nature of the boundary. More the roughness, more the resistance, more the friction. When the resistance is more, then the velocity of the flow is going to be less. Yes or no? So eventually the velocity of flow depends upon not only the cross-sectional details, but also the nature of the boundary. V is more when C is more, which means does a C represent some smoothness of the surface or roughness of the surface? Think and say. Smoother the surface, more the velocity. So if V increases, C is also going to be increases. C represents smoothness of surface. C represents the smoothness of the surface. Whatever the C of lined canal is greater than C of unlined canal. So the Cheji's constant in the unlined canal, what is the meaning of unlined canal? In the case of unlined canal, due to covering and silting, the cross section is going to be having undulations and it causes a lot of roughness. But whereas in the case of the lined canals, so compared to unlined, lined canals are smoother enough or not? You tell me, in lined canal and in unlined canal, in which case velocity is more? Obviously, in lined canals, velocity is going to be more because it represents the smoothness. So, this is given by Cheji's. And the second one is Manning's formula. And keep that in your mind, the Manning's formula is empirical, based on experimental investigation. Based on the experimental investigation. So what is Manning's formula, sir? This is the formula that you have seen in the environmental engineering design of syllabus. 1 by n into r to the power of 2/3 into s to the power of 1 by 2. Again, you see for a given cross section, there must be some hydraulic radius because based upon shape and size, and there must be some slope. Now, for a given cross section shape and the sizes and the slope, again the velocity is going to be depends upon some n, where n is Manning's roughness constant, and this n is a function of surface roughness, vegetation. This is the biggest difference. You see, when you derived, are you going to take the vegetation into the consideration? What is meant by vegetation? See, in the canals, you can see at the bed of the canal some vegetation, some wild plants would be there. Yes or no? Have you encountered that wild plants in derivations? No. Due to these wild plants or due to this vegetation at the base, what happens is this vegetation will allow or will offer resistance to the flow. Yes or no? And channel irregularities, etc., silting and scouring. So whenever we go for the experimental investigation, we are going to take care of all these things because this is happening in reality and this is happening in the ideal conditions. So if you observe, this is a Manning's equation and this is the Cheggy's equation. So where Manning's equation, now in this case V is inversely proportional to N, where N represents the roughness. More the roughness, more the resistance, lesser the velocity. Yes or no? So I can write N of unlined canals is more than N of lined canals. So now I have two equations. One is Cheggy's equation and other one is going to be Manning's equation. Now the biggest question is which equation I have to prefer? Which equation I have to prefer? The question is which equation we have to prefer? Out of Cheggy's and Manning's, we always prefer Manning's equation than the Cheggy's. Why, sir? The Cheggy's formula is derived one or empirical one? Derived. So when you derive, it is based upon some assumptions. Yes or no? What are the assumptions? Hydrostatic pressure, flow is steady, blah, 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 blah. But coming to the Manning's formula, is it a derived formula or empirical? Means based upon experimental? Experimental. So in the case of the Manning's, it has more experimental data than the Cheggy's. And moreover, Manning's formula is going to be simple form. It is a simple form than the Cheggy's formula, because for attaining this Cheggy's formula, you have a lot of derivations, and I don't want you to look over the derivation. You don't require the derivation until unless I say. Okay. So out of these two, in examination, sir, which equation should I have to use? Which equation should I have to use? So in order to go with the examination, you always prefer the Manning's formula. Until or unless if they mention use Cheggy's, you always go for the Manning's equation. So now the note point here is note. Manning's is preferred than Cheggy's due to its simple form and having experience of experimental data. So keep that in your mind. We always prefer Manning's equation than the Cheggy's equation. And And the error is going to be very, very less. The percentage error we get by using Cheggy's formula and Manning's formula is going to be very less. But when we ask, we prefer those. That is the reason why in environmental engineering, while you are going to design a CVERS, we use Manning's equation rather than the Cheggy's equation. Yes or no? There you did not came across the Cheggy's. You came across only Manning's. You see the terms R and S. What is R? Hydraulic radius. What is S? Slope. And C represents smoothness, where N represents the roughness, because velocity is directly proportional to C, smoothness. Velocity is inversely proportional to roughness. So I hope you understood the equations. And based upon these equations, now I am going to get down some relations. And these relations are very, very, very important in the case of ESE aspect. Relation between C and N. What is N? C means Cheggy's coefficient, N means Manning's coefficient, and Darcy friction factor F. So relation between C and Darcy friction factor F. Okay. So you know that velocity is nothing but C into root RS is equals to the Manning's is going to be 1 by N into R to the power of 2/3 into S to the power of 1 by 2. Give me a second, please. So C into root RS is equals to 1 by N into R to the power of 2/3 into S to the power of 1 by 2. And root S to the power of 1 by 2 gets cancelled. So you can see these are C into R to the power of 1 by 2 is equals to 1 by N into R to the power of 2/3. Now if you take this R to the power of 1 by 2 to the other side, then C is equals to 1 by N into R to the power of 1 by 6. So the relation between the Cheggy's and Manning's, so C Cheggy's coefficient is equals to 1 by N into R to the power of 1 by 6. Or N is equals to 1 by C into R to the power of 1 by 6. You can take anything. So this is the relation between Cheggy's, Manning's and Darcy's. Sorry. Now coming to the Darcy friction factor. So what is this Darcy friction factor? For that, you have to go for the Darcy-Weisbach equation. From Darcy-Weisbach equation. Now, what is the Darcy-Weisbach equation? HF is nothing but FL V squared by 2GB. This is for circular pipes. Now, what I do is the same equation. You know that in pipes, R is equals to D by 4. And now I can write this D as 4 times of R. If I substitute this as R, now HF is nothing but FL V squared by 2G into D means 4 times of R. Then HF is equals to FL V squared by 8GR. This is for non-circular sections also. This is for the non-circular section also. Sir, why are you using this equation for the non-circular section, sir? See, D is dia only. That's it. It is going to be for the circular only. But when I convert the D in terms of the hydraulic radius, now the hydraulic radius is going to be present for non-circular section also. Because in the case of the rectangle, triangle, trapezoidal, you can use the R value for anything, right? And if you use C, if I want to use R for circular section, this one, R is equals to D by 4. When I keep R is equals to D by 4, then the original form, FLV square by 2GD is going to be comes into the existence. And if I ask you for a wide rectangle, I hope you remember for wide rectangle, R is equals to Y. For wide rectangle, R is equals to Y. You go back, I have explained all those things in channel geometry. and a symmetrical triangle with apex angle 90 degrees. Symmetrical triangle with apex angle 90 degrees. R is equals to y by 2 root 2. R is equals to y by 2 root 2. So now finally we got this equation. Now from this, but I require whom? Relation between these now. Relation between these. So I got C and N. Now where F is the Darcy friction factor and L is the length of the channel. Where F is the Darcy friction factor, L is the length of the channel. So from this, what I do is I'll take V square to the one side. Now I can write this one as a 8G by F into HF by L into R. Can I write like this? 8G by F, this is HF by L into R. So now, what is this HF, sir? What is this? This is a total energy line R not? Yes, R no. And this total energy line is going to be have whatever the fall of the total energy line is nothing but a head loss due to friction. I told you this point clearly. See why the total energy line is falling? Because of head loss. And whatever this slope and this slope, the total energy line slope is going to be SF. So over a length of L, then what is SF? So I can write HF by L is equals to SF. HF by L is nothing but SF because that's a slope, right? And in the case of the uniform flow, that is going to be SW is equals to S naught is equals to S. So I am discussing about the uniform flow, right? So in the case of the uniform flow, HF by L is nothing but SF. What is meant by SF? Total energy line slope is equals to SW is equals to S naught is equals to S. So now I can rewrite this form as V square by G. V square is equals to 8G by F into R into S. And V is equals to root of 8G by F into root RS. Does this form is exactly similar to Chezy's equation or not? Yes. And when it is equal to Chezy's equation, then what is C? Root of 8G by F. Root of 8G by F. Where F is the Darcy friction factor. Where F is the Darcy friction factor. So where F is Darcy friction factor. There is a one more relation for F and F dash. Sometimes they will give you F dash also. This F dash means that's a friction coefficient. In the pipe flow, you may have learned that. See, if I give you the coefficient, that is F dash. If I give you the factor, that is F. So what is the relations between the Chezy's and Darcy friction factor? C is equals to root of 8G by F. And what is the relation between the Chezy's and Manning's? So C is equals to 1 by N into R to the power of 1 by 6. These are the relations between the Chezy's and Manning's. Please go through this once again. What are the equations of the uniform flow? So there are two equations. One is Chezy's formula and other one is the Manning's formula. You don't require the derivation. I'm telling you for the Chezy's. If you want the derivation, whenever the material is provided for you, you can go through the material. I have already given that derivation. So don't worry about it. Now you please go through that once again.
Okay, fine. If you have completed that, I'll give you one question based upon this so that you can understand much more better. Question. A symmetrical triangular channel with apex angle 90 degrees is carrying a flow at a depth of 2√2 meters. At a depth of 2√2 meters. If friction factor of bed if a friction factor of bed is 0.02, the roughness coefficient, the Manning's roughness coefficient is dash. So please find out the answer. And this one, carrying uniform flow at a depth of 2√2 meters. If the friction factor of the bed is going to be 0.02, the Manning's roughness coefficient is come on, find it. Tell me how many days of this subject? I told you around 15 days. Around 15 days it will take. Now is on a 4th day. It will take. Today we are going to complete this topic 2. Second topic will be completed. Because as we are getting only 2.5 hours per day, so it will be difficult. And tomorrow anyways we are going to get some 7 to 1 means we can take some 4 hours. Sorry. So I hope you got the answers. The answer is going to be 0.016, 0.0159. So I hope you got the answers. Now, you please look over. This is a symmetrical triangle with apex angle 90 degrees. Whenever there is a symmetrical triangle with apex angle 90 degrees, side slope is equals to 1. M is equals to 1. See, you must have to remember this condition. Wide rectangular channel, symmetrical triangular channel,
and half of a regular hexagon. You need to remember those conditions, especially the R value and D value. For this one, what is R value? R value means y by 2 root 2. So given y is equals to 2 root 2, then what is R? 2 root 2 by 2 root 2. So R is equals to 1. But I am asking you whom? Roughness coefficient. And what is the Darcy friction factor I have given? 0.02. Is there any direct relationship between the N and F? No. The relation between this C, you know, C is nothing but root of 8G by F. But I want whom? N. I am not asking you Chedis constant, I am asking you Manning's roughness coefficient. So I can rewrite this one as you know, there is a relation between the Chedis and Manning's. I can write it as 1 by N into R to the power of 1 by 6. Now, you please substitute root of 8 into G, 9.81 by 0.02 is equals to 1 by N into 1 to the power of 1 by 6. If you find the value is going to be 0.0159, and you can take it as 0.1. So they can ask you rounded to 3 decimals. Rounded to 3 decimals means 0.01. Okay. I hope you understood how to solve this one. So this is just a basic level question. So in this basic level question, I have given you the Manning's roughness coefficient. Okay. And now in the same question, I want to substitute one more thing in the same question. I hope you got these values. Now, I'll give this question and I'll give the break. So during the break, if you want to solve, you can solve. B. If a flow rate of 15 meter cube is supplied through channel, previous question, bed slope required to maintain uniform flow. The bed slope required to maintain the uniform. So come on, please try to solve this one. In the same question, the question is the previous question only in the same question. So I am giving you depth and I am giving you now discharge and I am asking you what is the bed slope required. So I am giving you the break now. It's 8:48. So I have a break for 15 minutes and we'll get back. So if you want, you can have this one. I'm giving a break now.
Yes. So now let's come back to the session. So now I have given you the flow rate, right? Q is equals to 15 meter cube per second. So I want to find out the slope required, bed slope required. I am asking you the bed slope. Yes, now. How? Now you see Q is equals to area into velocity. Area into velocity. Now you know the area depends upon the cross section. Whatever the cross section I have given is a symmetrical triangle with apex angle 90 degrees. Okay. And what about the velocity? The velocity in order to maintain the uniform flow, the velocity was given by two equations, Chezy's equation and Manning's equation. Chezy's and Manning's equation. But I told you, if I don't mention anything, you always give preference to whom? Manning's equation only. So Q is equals to A into, what is Manning's equation? 1 by N into R to the power of 2/3 into S to the power of 1 by 2. Now, let's go back to the terms related to the uniform flow. Whenever I say uniform flow, then whatever the depth is nothing but yn, whatever the slope is nothing but s0. So repeating once again, whenever I keep s as s0, then the flow is going to be uniform flow. Repeating the point again, if I keep s as s0, then the flow is going to be uniform flow. I want to find out this s0. So as you know, m is equals to 1, then area of the triangle is equals to m by square 1, and as it is a uniform flow yn, right? So area is equals to 2 root 2 whole square. So which is going to be 8 meter square. Area is going to be 8 meter square. Now you please substitute this. So what is the Q value? 15 is equals to 8 into 1 by n value. What is the n value we got? 0.016 into r to the power of 2/3 into s0 whole to the power of 1 by 2. So you please find out the s0 value. So 15 into 0.016 by 8 whole square. So s0 is equals to 9 into 10 to the power of minus 4, or in terms of 1 in 1.11. So 1 in 1111. 1 in 1111. What is the meaning of 1 in 1111? For every 1 meter of rise, it requires a horizontal. For 1.11 horizontal, you are going to raise only 1 unit. Okay. So that slope is going to be very, very less. In terms of meters, if I go for the mm, 1.1 meter, you are going to raise 1 mm. So for every 1.1 meter, you raise 1 mm. That's very, 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 very less. So I hope you got the values. Sir, why m is equals to 1, sir? Sir, my dear students, sir. You see, sir, please, sir. You see, what is this, sir? In the previous question, this symmetrical triangle with apex angle 90 degrees. In the case of the symmetrical triangle with apex angle 90 degrees, then the side slope 1 vertical to m horizontal, m is equals to 1. If you have any doubt, you please go through the notes yesterday I have provided for you. Why not take the area of triangle? I have taken the area of the triangle only, my dear. And I'm saying you again, please go back to the yesterday's notes once again. That's the reason why I did not take any doubt clearing session yesterday. But you please go through the notes once again. The channel geometry is very, 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 very important. Without the channel geometry, you cannot solve any flows. Okay. So that's about the question now. So now I'll give you one more question. Question number 2. two channels are a rectangular channel and symmetrical triangular channel with apex angle 90 degrees. A rectangular channel and a symmetrical triangular channel with apex angle 90 degrees laid with made with same bed material and laid with same slope. Laid with same slope. Now, the depth of flow in rectangular channel is same as its width. The depth of flow in rectangular channel is same as its width. So now, if this is the case, A, the ratio of discharge through rectangle to triangle is dash if A, flow area is same, B, fitted perimeter is same. So keep that in your mind, and now you try to solve this question. I have given you two channels. One is a rectangle, other one is a symmetrical triangle, and both are made of same material. See, when I provide or when I made a same material, the boundary is same, which means the roughness is same. So both channel has the same roughness and laid with the same slope, which means so the bed slope for both the channels is also going to be same. So same material, roughness is same slope, bed is also slope, same. And I'm giving you the depth of flow in rectangle channel is the same as its width. Okay. So in the case of rectangle, width and depth both are same. The ratio of discharges through rectangle to triangle is if flow area is same. So this is condition number one. I want the ratio if what if flow area is same, and the second one is wetted perimeter is same. So please try to solve. One, start solving. Now I can solve this one. Come to the solution. Yes. So I have given you a rectangle. So this is a rectangle and this is the water level. So let's take the depth of the rectangle. Water level in the rectangle is y1 and this is going to be b1. And similarly, here this is going to be a symmetrical triangle. So this is the water level. And what is this angle? 90 degrees. So then whatever the depth of water, this is going to be y2. Okay. So these are the two channels I have given. So same bed material means roughness is constant. Same bed material is roughness is constant. And same slope S0 is going to be constant. Okay. Apart from that, what I'm asking you is a discharge. Yes or no? So what is the discharges? What is the equation made by the, means what is the equation for discharge? You know that? Q is equals to A into Manning's equation 1 by N into R to the power of 2/3 into S to the power of 1 by 2. Okay. Anyways, N is going to be constant and S is also going to be constant. And further I am going to write this one as A into 1 by N into, can I write R as A by P whole to the power of 2/3 S to the power of 1 by 2? Yes. Whole to the power of 2/3 S to the power of 1 by 2. Now, as N and S not constant, can I write this one as Q directly proportional to A into A to the power of 2 by 3, A to the power of 5 by 3 by P to the power of 2 by 3. Because we are comparing two channels, right? When you are comparing two channels, you can directly get down the relation directly proportional to. So now, this is the condition. Still, I have not used any condition given in the question. So what is A? Flow area is going to be same. Let's say that. Okay. So now, first of all, in the case of the rectangle, what is the conditions I have given? In rectangle, I have given you the condition. What is the condition, please? So the depth of flow in rectangle is same as its width. The depth of flow in rectangle is same as its width. So y1 is equals to b1. And in the case of the triangle, as it is a symmetrical triangle, m is nothing but 1. M is nothing but 1. Okay. So these are the conditions. Now you tell me, if I go for this one, condition A, if flow area is same, if flow area is same, then A1 is equals to A2. A1 is equals to A2. When A1 is equals to A2, then what is A1? What is the area of the triangle? Sorry, area of the rectangle, B into Y. What is the area of triangle? My square, Y2. Yes or no? Now apply the conditions. As B1 and Y1 both are same, then I can write as Y1 square, and this is going to be M value 1, this is going to be Y2 square. So from this I can say that depth of flow in both the conditions are going to be same. So if a flow area is going to be same, then the flow depths are also going to be same for the given condition. Keep that in your mind. In rectangle, I gave you the condition, the depth of flow is equals to width, because that's what I mentioned, right? And moreover, this is symmetrical triangle with apex angle 90 degrees. So which means M is equals to 1. Now, my dear, if I take area is going to be constant, see, finally, from the N constant, N removed, S constant removed. Now, if I write a flow area is going to be constant, then Q is going to be directly proportional to 1 by P to the power of 2/3. Yes or no? P to the power of 2/3. Okay. So now, what is the weighted perimeter, sir? What is weighted perimeter? So now I can write down Q of rectangle to Q of triangle is nothing but weighted perimeter of triangle to weighted perimeter of rectangle whole to the power of 2 by 3. Sir, what is this R? R means rectangle, T means triangle. Or I can write this in other words as Q1 by Q2 is equals to P2 by P1 whole to the power of 2 by 3. So now what is P1? P1 means B1 plus 2Y1 because what is the weighted perimeter of that rectangle? See, you know for rectangle area is nothing but By, weighted perimeter is nothing but B plus 2Y. And you know for triangle area is nothing but My square and weighted perimeter is going to be 2Y into root of 1 plus M square. Okay, so now you please substitute here B1 plus 2Y1. And as you know, B1 and Y1 both are same, then I can write this one as 3Y1. And what about P2? 2Y2 into root of 1 plus M square. Yes or no? So now, as M is equals to 1, then I can write P2 is equals to 2 root 2Y2. I hope you can understand this. So I have find out P1, I have find out P2. Now, you please substitute the values. Q1 by Q2 is equals to P2. What is P2? 2 root 2 Y2 by 3Y1 whole to the power of 2 by 3. Now, when the flow area is going to be same, Y1 is equals to Y2. So Y1 and Y2 will get cancelled. Then what is the ratio, please? Q1 by Q2 is equals to 2 root 2 by 3. Whole to the power of 2 by 3. So the answer is going to be 0.961. If you got this value, that's going to be true. I hope you understood. See, what I'm doing is, when I'm going to compare the channels, this is rectangle and this is going to be triangle, I'm eliminating which is constant. First N and S constant, and then I got this relation. From this, I said that if flow area is going to be same, then area is going to be constant. Areas are going to be removed. Then what is the weighted perimeter? So what is the weighted perimeter? P1 and P2, right? Now I got this. Is there any doubts regarding to this? Yeah. So now similarly, coming to the B. B. If weighted perimeter is same, if weighted perimeter is going to be same, then you know that Q is going to be directly proportional to A to the power of 5 by 3. Q1 by Q2 is equals to A1 by A2 whole to the power of 5 by 3. Yes, sir. Q1 by Q2 is equals to, see now I am taking weighted perimeter is going to be same, which means P1 is equals to P2. Okay. Now Q1 by Q2 is equals to, what is A1 please? What is A1? A1 means B1 Y1, B1 Y1 by M Y2 square whole to the power of 5 by 3. Okay. So which is nothing but B1 Y1, Y1 square by Y2 square by whole to the power of 5 by 3. But my dear, do you think now Y1 and Y2 both are same? Tell me. Do you think now Y1 and Y2 both are same? No. See, in the previous, I removed Y1 and Y2 because if areas are going to be same, I got the condition as Y1 is equals to Y2. Then I substitute over here. Yes or no? But here, I don't know Y1 and Y2 both are same. But I know the condition. What is the condition here? P1 is equals to P2. Now substitute please. P1 is equals to P2. You don't know Y1 and you don't know Y2. Now, by using P1 is equals to P2, what is the P1? When P1 is equals to P2, d1 plus 2y1 is equals to 2y2 into root of 1 plus m square. So I can write as a 3y1 is equals to 2 root 2 y2. 2 root 2 y2, because you know what is p1? 3y1. What is p2? 2 root 2 y2. So now if you observe here, so I can write y1 by y2 is equals to 2 root 2 by 3. Now substitute please. 2 root 2 by 3 whole square whole to the power of 5 by 3. Because y1 square by y2 square I can write as y1 by y2 whole square. So 5 into 10, 5 into 2, 10, right? So the answer is going to be 0.821. I hope you understood this. In given question, y1 is equals to y2. No, in given question, I did not mention. Have I mentioned anywhere? You please observe. This is the question. The depth of flow in rectangular channel is same as its width. That's it. I mentioned. I did not mention the depth of flow in rectangle and triangle both are same. Did I? No. So I did not mention anything. I just gave you the details, and from the details, if area is going to be same, now b1 y1. So as from the condition, the width and depth in rectangle is same. So from there I can find out y1 and y2. And if area is going to be constant, you relate it with weighted perimeter, you cancel down y1 and y2. And here, if weighted perimeter is going to be same, if p1 and p2 same, then what is the relation between y1 and y2? Now this time y1 and y2 are not going to be same. y1 by y2 is equals to 2 root 2 by 3. And if you solve this, you're going to end up with the answer as 0.821. So this is a very good question. And this model is going to be, see, I have given you the models as a basic to advanced. This is advanced model. So very good question. Now, yes. Other empirical relations, please. There are some other empirical relations. For n. What is mean by n? Roughness coefficient. There are some other empirical relations. So out of those are Stickler's equation. So these are based on the particle size of bed material. Whatever the bed material is there, right? Whatever the bed material you are going to use. So for that bed material, this soil or rock, based upon the particle size, we are going to see. So this is a Stickler equation. And in the case of the Stickler equation, he mentioned that n is equals to d50 whole to the power of 1 by 6 by 21.1. d50 whole to the power of 1 by 6 by 21.1. Sir, what is this d50, sir? This d50 means particle size below which percentage of finery is 50%. For example, if I say the particle size is going to be some 4.75 mm, and for example, you take one sieve, and in that sieve, if 50% of the soil is going to be passing through that sieve, and that sieve size is going to be d50. I hope the people who have done the geotechnical engineering, you please remember the D10, D30, D60, what we mentioned in the sieve analysis.
the same thing. So what is meant by D50? That D50 means the particle size below which 50% of the particles are finer. The particle size in which 50% of the bed material is going to be. Yeah. So particle size in which 50% of bed material is finer. Particle size in which 50% of the bed material is finer. So if you take a sieve, if 50% of the total bed material is passing through that sieve, that size is going to be the D50. And keep that in your mind. Here, the unit should be in terms of meters. Whatever the units we are going to take, it should be in terms of meters. Yes, you have to remember this equation. You need to learn. These equations are important for ESC. So in ESC, they may give you the values which is relevant to that. Now, second one is Meyerhof equation. And this equation is going to be relevant where bed material is granular or particle size is going to be more. So in the case of the Meyerhof, n is equals to D90 whole to the power of 1 by 6 by 26. D90 whole to the power of 1 by 6 by 26. So what is this D90? Same particle size in which 90% of the particles are final. I remember 90% particles passing means then that particle size is going to be more or not. See, if 90% of the particles are going to be passing, only 10% will remain or retain, which means the particle size is very, very, very large. That's the reason why I said to you this granular soil. So D90, same particle size in which 90% of bed material is final. Again, units are in meters only. See, if you want to use these relations, the units are going to be in meters only. Keep that in your mind. Okay. So that's about the uniform flow equations and other empirical relations. What about the relations between the Chegis, Manning's and roughness coefficient? It's a Chegis coefficient, Manning's coefficient and acid friction factor. Okay. And well, if you have any doubts, you can shoot me now. Granular means cohesionless soils are highly graded materials like gravel and sands. You cannot solve this one without using calculators. So in the ESC, they may give you these equations, but they may not give you the values which are irrelevant. They will give you the values which are relevant values only. So don't worry about that. D50 and D90 not understood, sir. So D50 and D90 means whatever the bed material is there, right? The particles. Okay. For example, you take a 1 kg of the soil. You take 1 kg of the soil. In that 1 kg of soil, the particle sizes are different particles, right? and you take a sieve. I hope you have done the sieve analysis in the laboratory, right? You take a sieve, you pour the total soil. You pour the total soil. If 50% of the soil is going to be passing through that sieve size or sieve particle size is going to be the D50 and D10. So D50 and D90. Sir, if 90% passing, then how come this is for granular, more portion is of final? 90% passing means you are taking, see what is the meaning of D90? What is the meaning of D90? The particle size. That particle size is bigger particle size, na? The particle size is bigger particle size. The meaning of D90 is the sieve size or particle size in which 90% of the particles are going to be passing. If the sieve size is going to be more, look, if the sieve size is going to be more, then only more particles will pass. If the sieve size is going to be more, then the dia of the particle above that is also going to be more or not. So D90 is more than the D50. If you need better explanation, you have to wait for Geotech. Or if you have completed Geotech, you please go back to the Geotech where we discussed about the sieve analysis. There I have provided you particle size distribution curve also. Vaisar Meinhof came from geotechnical engineering to fluid mechanics. He does not have any other work, right? That's why he's jumping from geotech to fluid mechanics. Okay. Yeah, this is important for the gate. Keep that in your mind. This is very, very important for the gate. So now, apart from this, no. Yes. So what is the condition for the uniform flow? Please tell me once again. What is the condition for the uniform flow? Driving force is equals to resisting force. And I told you uniform flow exists when driving force is balanced by the resisting force. When the driving force is going to be balanced by the resisting force, then we are going to call it as a uniform flow. And what is that resisting force? And that resisting force is due to the boundary resistance or not. At the boundary, who would be there? Shear stress. Now, I need to find out that shear stress. Let's see that. Average boundary shear stress represented with tau naught. Average boundary shear stress represented with tau naught. Again, this is a channel bed and this is a water level, and you know this is going to be driving force, and you know this is going to be the resisting force. So uniform flow occurs when driving force is equals to the resisting force. Driving force is equals to the resisting force. What is driving force? W sine theta. What is resisting force? Tau into surface area. Tau into surface area. Okay, so let me take the again small element, or you know this is the control volume of length L. Don't ask me how the resisting force is going to be tau into surface area, because I have clearly mentioned here. Yeah, so I have clearly mentioned over here resisting force is nothing but tau into surface area. Yes. So now, what is the weight? You see, this is nothing but the weight of the fluid or not. And how to find out the weight of the fluid, sir? Sir, weight is nothing but density into volume, sir. Weight is nothing but unit weight into volume. Mass is density into volume. So what is the unit weight of water over here? What is the unit weight of the water? Unit weight of the water into volume of this element. What is the element? Volume. See, this water level must be having some cross-section area or not? Yes or no? So whatever the cross-section area into length. See, this fluid element has some length. Whatever this element, that element weight is nothing but unit weight into volume into sine theta is equals to tau into, what is meant by surface area, sir? Surface area means a wetted perimeter into length. What is meant by surface area? What is the surface area? Wetted perimeter, whatever the wetted perimeter into length is known as a surface area. So what is wetted perimeter? P into length. So surface area means wetted perimeter into length, whereas a volume is nothing but cross-sectional flow area into length. What is it? Length here? L, where L will get cancelled. And generally the slope is going to be very less for small slopes. You know that sine theta is nothing but theta is equals to S naught. What is the bed slope, please? What is the bed slope? The theta is equals to S naught. So now I can rewrite this form as gamma W, and can you write this gamma W into A into S naught is equals to tau naught. That is the boundary shear stress, average boundary shear stress into P. And from this, can I write the tau naught is nothing but gamma W into A by P. What is A by P? What is A by P? Hydraulic radius, right? What is meant by hydraulic radius? Flow area per unit wetted perimeter into S naught. So, my dear, the final equation for the average boundary shear stress is going to be the tau naught is equals to gamma W into R into S naught. So, how much boundary shear stress you required? How much boundary shear stress, average boundary shear stress you required to create the uniform flow? What is the meaning of a uniform flow? The driving force is equals to resisting force. So how much shear stress is going to be developed? Gamma W into R into S naught. That much boundary shear stress is going to be required. And if this is the boundary shear stress, then driving force is equal to resisting force and uniform flow is going to be happen. So this is the average boundary shear stress. And how you are going to measure the boundary shear stress is a Preston tube. This is a device is used to measure shear stress. Just like current meter for the velocity, piezometer for the pressure head. Now, from this, from field observations, see, in the case of the field, you know, mostly the channel is going to be trapezoidal, right? In the case of the field, mostly the channel is going to be trapezoidal channel only. So, if this is a trapezoidal channel, and whose aspect ratio? What is the aspect ratio? Aspect ratio, see, now here this is going to be 1 vertical to 1.5 horizontal, and aspect ratio is nothing but B by Y is greater than 5. So from the field observations, whatever the trapezoidal channel, whose aspect ratio is going to be B by Y greater than 5, and the side slope is going to be 1 vertical to 1.5 horizontal. So from that field observations, what we got to know here is, if I draw the shear stress distribution, I'm going to draw the shear stress distribution, my dear. The shear stress distribution. And this shear stress distribution is going to be like, look, at the interface between the water surface and the boundary, at the interface between the water surface and the boundary due to turbulences of the water. Due to turbulences. So see, whenever the water hits the sides, now it will create some turbulences. Yes. Due to the turbulences, the velocity of the flow is going to be more. Yes or no? So when the water hits the wall, due to the turbulences, velocity is going to be more. Then the shear stress is going to be less. When the velocity is more, shear stress is going to be less. So at the interface between the water surface and the boundary, the shear stress is going to be zero. And at the corners, due to presence of the secondary currents, you know, some rotational flow or some reverse flow is going to be happen like this here or not. So due to secondary currents at the boundaries, means at the corners, and due to turbulences at the interface between the water and boundary, the shear stress is going to be zero. What is that? The shear stress is going to be zero. And it will be having a local maximum. So now you see on the sides, if I draw the shear stress distribution, 0, and this is corner 0, 0 to 0. And you can observe somewhere over here there is some maximum shear stress or not. Somewhere over here this is going to be the maximum shear stress. So this is sides. And what about the what about the base, sir? In the case of the base, see this is base, right? Again 0 to 0. The shear stress distribution looks like this. So this is the shear stress distribution. And in the case of sides, here it is going to be the shear stress distribution. And in the case of the base, that is going to be the shear stress distribution. And whatever this value, this is going to be tau maximum at the sides. And whatever this is going to be tau maximum at the base. And similarly, you can get this 0 to. So you can observe whatever this tau maximum at the sides. So here, whatever this is nothing but the shear stress distribution, and this shear stress is going to be measured by using a Preston tube, my dear. And from the field observations, for a trapezoidal channel of 1 vertical to 1.5 horizontal, and B by Y is going to be greater than 5. If you see the shear stress distribution, this is the shear stress distribution where tau maximum at the sides is nothing but 0.75 into gamma W into Y into S naught. What is average boundary shear stress? Gamma W into R into S naught. And if this R is going to be 0.75 Y, if the R is going to be 0.75 Y, then it is going to be 0.75. Then it is going to be 0.75. And what about the tau maximum at a base, sir? 0.97 gamma W into Y into S naught. See, look, see, instead of R, you see this term, instead of R, what I am doing is, if R is equals to 0.75 Y on the side, that is the maximum, and 0.97 Y on the base, it is going to be the maximum. Okay. So now I can write this point here as the maximum shear stress at the sides is almost 75% of maximum shear stress at the base. So compared to the maximum shear stress at base, at sides it is going to be almost 75%. Yes, sir. So now I can write the reason. Shear stress is 0 at
corners and interface of water or interface between water surface and boundary due to A. Turbulences at surface, B. Secondary currents. So what is the reasons behind? One is going to be turbulences at surface, other one is going to be the secondary currents. So these are the reasons behind why the shear stress is the shear stress is going to be zero at the corners and sides. At corner side and the interface between the water surface and boundaries. So with this, we have completed the boundary shear stress, average boundary. See, what is the average boundary shear stress? The average is going to be, you have to take the hydraulic radius. For the given channel, the hydraulic radius is going to be A by P. And if I ask you the local maximum on the sides is going to be 0.75. This is suitable for this channel, whose B by Y is going to be greater than 5, and whose side slope is going to be 1 vertical to 1.5 horizontal. You know that the most commonly used cross-section shape is a trapezoidal, right? And you know the reason behind it also, because semicircular is a difficulty in design, so we go for the trapezoidal channel. And with this, we have completed all the topics regarding to the uniform flow. Please have a look. Whatever we are discussing is linear canal, my dear. We are not discussing unlined canals. Sir, how surface area is a P into L, sir? Sir, surface area means perimeter into length of our. It's basic mathematics. Why shear stress is not uniform throughout? I said you the reason over here. That's the reason why it's not uniform. Shear stress is not going to be uniform. Shear stress is going to be zero at the corners due to secondary currents. Is hydraulic depth and radius are along width only. Who said that along width? That is for cross section, not along width. Okay. Now let's see some of the practice questions. So we have completed our introduction to OCF and the general topics, basic concepts, and uniform flow. Now come to the questions. You see this question, please. Why shear stress distribution is going to be linear but not curved? Baba, in the case of the shear stress distribution, the equations, so there it's not going to be linear, it's a curved variation. It's not linear variation because whatever the distribution we take is turbulent flow. If you remember, for turbulent flow, the shear stress distribution is going to be curved, not linear. The flow can be uniform. First of all, you see this question, please, everybody. So whatever the discussion we made, yeah, the flow is going to be uniform when I said you the conditions for the uniform flow. You see, is it when a non-prismatic channel? No. Flow is going to be uniform if and only if the channel is going to be prismatic. Okay. Think the channel is going to be prismatic. Okay. Now coming to the BCD, a wide rectangular channel. Keep it aside. A wide rectangle. Rectangle means there is a shape, which means prismatic. See, if I say non-prismatic, non-prismatic does not has any shape. So if I say some shape, that is going to be prismatic. Okay. Next, a wide rectangular channel and a horizontal trapezoidal. See, trapezoidal is also prismatic, and again rectangle is also going to be prismatic. But you know that for uniform flow, the channel should be prismatic channel And moreover, what is the condition for the uniform flow? Driving force and resisting force should be there, and they should both be counterbalanced. Yes or no? Now, if I say horizontal trapezoidal channel, no? What is the meaning of horizontal? You know that driving force is equals to W into sine theta. Yes or no? W into sine theta. Yes or no? Now, my dear, if I say the channel bottom is going to be horizontal, what is the meaning of horizontal? Horizontal means, so if I go for the channel bed as horizontal, then what is theta? Theta is equals to 0. When theta is equals to 0, then driving force is equals to 0. So when driving force is equals to 0, see, keep that in your mind, flow always takes us from higher level to lower level. If channel bottom is horizontal, then the driving force is equals to 0. When driving force is 0, then do you think it is going to be counterbalanced by resisting force? No. So flow cannot be uniform when driving force is equals to 0. For uniform flow to happen, driving force must be there and resisting force must be there. So both should be balanced. If any one of the force is 0, it is not going to be it is not going to be uniform flow. Next, coming to the frictionless. What is the meaning of frictionless? No friction. What is the meaning of no friction? Fr is equals to 0. When Fr is equals to 0, then there is no uniform flow. See, if when Fr is 0, do you think the driving force is going to be counterbalanced by the resisting force? No. So, first one, the option A is not going to be uniform because of non-prismatic. C, driving force is 0, so uniform flow is not going to be happen. D, resisting force 0, it is not going to be happen. And the correct answer is going to be wide rectangular channel or wide prismatic channels. Okay. So, the answer for this question is going to be a prismatic channel, which is option B. I'm leaving you the questions. Actually, already I have already uploaded the previous GATE, IES, and classroom practice questions. So I'm leaving the questions for you. Up to question number 7, that's a homework for you. So please try to solve. There is a homework for you. The homework is our assignment. You can take whatever it is. Solve questions from 1 to 7 in classroom practice questions booklet. I hope you got the classroom practice questions booklet with you. So in that, you please try to solve 1 to 7 questions and exclude 6th question. Exclude 6th question. You just please, you don't go with the 6th question, please. The question is going to be looks like, yeah, this is the 6th question. You please exclude the 6th question. You don't go with the 6th question. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7. Out of this, was 7 questions. You please exclude the 6th question. So I gave you homework for 6 questions. I have given the enough number of models. You please go through that. And if you have any doubt, we'll discuss those things tomorrow. But for today, we have been stopped the session. And I'm going to take some doubt clearing session now from 10 to 20 minutes of doubt clearing session. So I hope you understood the topics well. That's all about the uniform flow. And in the uniform flow, there is one more subtopic is there, hydraulic efficient section. So that we'll be discussing tomorrow. Okay. So those who wants to leave, they can leave. And those who wants to ask the doubts, they can ask the doubts. And have a good day to you people too. Okay, fine. Now Let's come to the doubt clearing session. You people, you can raise your hands. Mr. Shankar, please speak out.
Sir, am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you're audible to me. Tell me.
Sir, can you open the slide of characteristic of uniform flow, sir?
Yes. Tell me.
Sir, we are here we are assuming that like velocity will be same and depth of flow will be same, no, sir?
Yes.
After that, we will get the slopes also same, no, sir?
Yes.
Then if the slope is same, then there will not be any flow only, no, sir? Like
Who said that? Who said that? It's just your
Yes, sir.
perspective, but it's not true. It's going to be happen. Is there any condition like if all the slopes are same, there is no flow? Hello?
Yes, sir. Like
Is there any condition that you have read or saw when slopes are same, the flow is not going to be happen? No, right?
no, sir. Like there can be some value so that the slope will the flow will occur.
No. See, the bed slope, whenever there is a bed slope, then there is a flow.
Yes, sir.
Just pour some water on an inclined slope. Don't you think the flow will happen or not?
Okay, sir. You got it.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Mr. Kelawat, please speak out. Mr. Kelawat. Hello. Hello. Hello, Mr. Kelawat, please speak out. Hello. Mr. Sachin, please speak out. Mr. Sachin.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Sachin. Tell me.
Sir, can you please check the next slide, sir?
Yes.
No, sir. That rate of momentum and momentum or momentum.
Can you please speak a little bit loud?
Sir, that linear momentum principle, that slide, sir.
Okay, fine. Give me a minute. I will open this again. Tell me.
Yes, sir. Sir, next one, sir. That equation, sir.
Yeah, okay. Tell me.
That m equal to me by t, and that next step, sir. Rho into what is that term, sir?
Volume. Density into volume. This is volume.
Okay, sir. That's it, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Mr. Pranjal Naresh, speak out, please.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
So actually, I missed the starting part, and I had one question. Is like, sir, in uniform flow, the driving force is equal to resisting force. It is balanced by resisting. Then, sir, how the
Yes.
flow will occur, sir? The driving force.
That's what now. I was saying the same thing, Ray. That's
Yes, sir.
what I'm telling you. It's an ideal flow.
Okay.
Okay. What is mean by ideal flow? Does it actually exist in practical situations?
No, sir.
And in the practical situations, there are a lot of other factors are going to be affected over there. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
So the question is, sir, why it is then even called flow, sir? Uniform flow. If it is not even
Because
flowing.
its velocity, see, it seems like that the flow is moving with very slow velocity.
Okay.
See, when the acceleration is going to be constant,
Yeah.
indication of the velocity is very less. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
The flow is going to be moving with a very less velocity. If you see with a larger view,
Okay.
observe that there is no flow. But if you go to that and observe, you can see the flow is moving with a very slight velocity or less velocity.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
One more question, sir.
Yeah.
So I was solving some questions previous year. So that there I got one question that a stone is dropped into the uh, water, which is
Uh,
supercritical flow.
huh?
Water is flowing at the flow is
That
super.
I'll discuss later. That I'll
Okay,
discuss
okay,
later. At the end, that will come. Don't worry about that.
okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Next, Mr. Mohammed, please speak out.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Mohammed.
Sir, in the condition for uniform flow, sir, there we
Huh?
have assumed on control volume, no, sir.
Huh?
Control volume.
Control volume, yes.
Sir, in that flow is taking place or not, sir? We are assuming,
The flow is taking place, right?
sir, then if that hydrostatic force
Baba,
Fh,
that's C for the analysis. Can you analyze the total flow of water?
no, no, sir.
So we are taking a small portion that is known as control volume. In that portion, we are allowing the flow, and outer portions we say that is a hydrostatic case.
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Okay, okay, sir.
Yeah,
Okay, sir.
that's it.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so no other questions are there. I think no one is raising their hands. Is there any class tomorrow? Yes, there is a class tomorrow from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mr. Maruti Samant, please speak out.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Mr. Maruti Samant, tell me.
Sir, why can't we say
Please speak out a little bit louder.
why can't we say waterfall also forms a hydraulic jump, sir?
Why can't we say?
The waterfall also forms a hydraulic jump. Because, sir, there is also a conversion of potential energy into kinetic.
It's not only conversion of potential energy to kinetic energy, my dear. It's the condition of hydraulic jump is it has to move from supercritical to subcritical. Okay.
Okay, sir.
When you release the flow, listen. When you release the flow at the toe of the dam or weir, if the flow is supercritical, there is a possibility of hydraulic jump, and that you will be understood much more clearly once I discuss about the water surface profiles. Please keep that with you, and you will be getting to know at the end of the topics. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's all for today. So no other questions were there, and I'm logging out. So if you have any other doubts, you please send me a mail so that I can reply through the mails. Have a good day. Happy Independence Day to all of you.